This is task 2 from the first sample assessment for cash and financial management. In this task, we're looking at preparing a cash budget using forecasts. So we're told that Navy Blue Care Limited is a care home housing a number of residents who are all charged the same amount per month. The price per room for month 1 is £3,240. From month 2, the price per room per month will increase, and an index has been created to calculate the increase. The index for month 1 is 120, and the index for month 2 is 125. It tells us to please ignore VAT. And we need to calculate the monthly price of each room for month 2. So let's just revise what do we mean by all these indices. So what happens is that on a particular date, we're going to say that we're going to show an index number of 100 for whatever the price is at that time. And then on a future date, so for example, thinking about in the question now, we have month 1, we have an index of 120. So that's telling us that the price today, and we know what the price today is, don't we? Because that's going to be 3,240. So we just know that that 3,240 is 20% higher than whatever it was on the day we said we have an index number of 100. So we can actually work backwards, can't we? So if we take the 3,240 and divide by the 120%, that tells us that the price on that original day must have been 2,700. And what we're doing is just using it as a benchmark for all the future prices. So now when we get to month 2, we have an index of 125. So what we need to do is think about that original price when the index was 100, and we multiply by 1.25 or multiply by 125%, whichever you prefer. And so the 2,700 multiplied by 1.25 gives us a price of 3,375. So the way that these index numbers work is that we just have this fixed date and we say that's going to be a 100 index, and then all future prices will be based on that 100, because using 100 is an easier benchmark than using 2,700 as the benchmark. So in this particular case then, so yeah, we've got our answer of 3,375. Now let's just look at a quicker way we could do this in terms of the exam. So we've gone through it quite slowly for your revision, but one way we could do this is we take the price at month 1, the 3,240, and if we want to work out the price on month 2 or whatever it's going to be, we just multiply by the month 2 index and divide by the month 1 index. So that'll be a quicker way of working that figure out. Okay, move on to the next part of the task. The levels of room occupancy have been estimated as follows. So we've got in month 1, 590 rooms, in month 2, 600, and month 3, 580. We're told that 40% of residents settle their invoice in the month it is issued, and they also take advantage of a 2.5% prompt payment discount. The remaining residents settle their invoice in the following month. And we need to complete the table below showing the estimated cash receipts for rooms from month 2 and 3, and we need to show our answers to the nearest whole pound. Now remember that this answer is being marked by a computer, so if you don't show your answers to the nearest whole pound, you risk losing a mark. So what are we doing then? So we know we've got these different months, haven't we? So we've got month 1, month 2, and month 3. We've got the number of rooms there, so it's going to be 590, 600, and 580. We know we've got different prices for them as well, don't we? So for month 2 and month 3, our price is the 3,375 that we worked out just now. And in month 1, the price is the old price of 3,240. So if we multiply these figures out, that'll give us the total income for those months, although not the cash flow, because remember this question asks us about cash flow rather than the income itself. So there's the total income for the 3 months, but what we need to do now is work out how this is going to be paid. So remember that 40% is paid in the month that the invoice is issued and 60% paid in the following month. So for month 1, 40% would be 764,640. But remember, they get a prompt payment discount, so we need to take off 2.5% of this, don't we? So that would leave us with 745,524. And that's paid in month 1. And then the remaining 60% is paid in month 2. So there's the 60% paid in month 2. And then in month 2, we issue some more invoices. So we've got the 2,025,000 that we need to bill people. And remember, 40% of that is paid in that month. But remember, they get a 2.5% discount for paying in that month. So that brings us down to 789,750. And then remember, we've got the other 60%, which is paid in the following month. So that's going to be 1,215,000. And then for month 3, so we've got our total income of the 1,957,500. And remember, 40% pay in the month. So we can work out that 40%. But they get a 2.5% discount. So they only actually pay 763,425. So what we need to do then is transfer those numbers into our answer. Remember, we're only focusing on month 2 and month 3. So we need to put these 4 numbers into our answer. And then we'll have our total cash receipts for month 2 and month 3. The next part of the task tells us that monthly overheads are calculated using regression analysis, using the formula y equals 980,000 plus 102x, where x is the estimated room occupancy for each month. So we can see that we've got a variable cost per room of 102, and then we've got a fixed cost of 980,000. So it's asking us to work out the monthly overheads for months 2 and 3. So remember, we've got our different occupancy for those 2 months. Remember, X is the occupancy. So let's remind ourselves what those are. So we've got occupancy in month 2 of 600. So that means that Y equals 980,000 plus 102 multiplied by 600. And that gives us an answer of 1,041,200. And then in month 3, we have an occupancy of 580. So Y equals, again, the fixed 980,000 plus 102 variable cost minus the 580. And that gives us 1,039,160. So those are our 2 answers. We're then told the following additional information relates to the cash budget for Navy Blue Care Limited for months 2 and 3. Navy Blue Care Limited has an investment in an Italian company and is due to receive a dividend of €230,000 in month 3. So again, we do need to read the question carefully and make sure we put the cash flows into the right months. The exchange rate to be used to convert the receipt is £1 sterling is 1.15 euro. So we want to work out our sterling, don't we? So to work this out, we'll take our 230,000 euro and divide by 1.15 euro. And that gives us 200,000 sterling. We're also told the estimated payroll costs for months 1 to 3 are shown in the table below. So that tells us that the net pay is paid in the current month, and both the PAYE and national insurance paid in the following month. So again, we need to make sure that we put all the cash flows into the right months. So month 1 PAYE will be paid in month 1, whereas the income tax and national insurance, they'll both be paid in the following month. And so we just need to make sure that we're identifying all the right cash flows for the 2 months. So we're told then to complete the remaining elements of the cash budgets for month 2 and 3 using the additional information. Where no cash flow occurs, you must enter a 0. Again, remember the computer is going to be marking this, so if you leave it blank when it says put in a 0, you will not get a mark for that. So you need to make sure you follow the instructions carefully. So cash inflows should be shown as positive numbers and outflows using negative numbers, and we're going to use a minus sign to show a negative number and not brackets. And we want to round all figures to the nearest whole pound. So here's our cash budget for months 2 and 3, and we're going to put a variety of numbers here from the other figures. Now notice that some of these are going to be done automatically, so we've got some zeros here. In the exam software, these numbers would be calculated automatically for you, but in this case, because we're just handwriting this on the screen, that doesn't work. So let's just pop those numbers in. So let's just remind ourselves that those numbers actually come from our previous calculations. So there's those 2 numbers there. Okay, but we need to put the other numbers in as well. So remember, we've worked out our overheads. So those 2 numbers also need to go into our answer. And then we need to put in the new numbers from this part of the question. So we identified, didn't we, in month 3, we need to show this dividend of 200,000 coming in. But that's relative to month 3. And then we can work out our total cash coming in for the 2 months. Again, those 2 numbers would be automatically calculated for you in the exam software. And then what about our payroll? Again, we need to pay attention to the month in which those transactions occur, don't we? So for the net pay, the cash flow occurs in the month of the transaction. So we've got those 2 numbers taken from the table at the top of the screen. And then in the following month, we pay HMRC, the income tax and the national insurance. So we just need to make sure we take that from the right months. So in month 1, we pay 83,000 and 28,000 to HMRC, but we pay that in month 2. So that's a total of 112,064. Those 2 numbers. And then in month 3, we pay the tax collected in month 2. Again, so the total payments would be automatically calculated by the exam software. And then having done that, we can work out our net cash flow. So our net cash flow will be the difference between the cash coming in and the cash going out. And that totals in month 2. So we've got more cash going out than coming in. So we have a negative 14,634. Now we started with cash of 65,000 at the beginning of the month, and of that we spend this 14,000, and that means at the end of the month we have 51,146. And that's how much money we have then at the beginning of month 3. And then what about the net cash flow for month 3? Again, we just need to compare the cash in and cash out, and that gives us a total cash in this time because we've got those dividends helping us. So we've got cash in of 248,225, and then we can add that onto the amount of money we had at the beginning of the month. So at the end of the month we have 299,371.